Hello, everybody. Excuse me. I know there's probably not many people out. It is Christmas Eve here. Early morning. Well, early. It's 10:30 or 10:35 here in Los Angeles. But I'm here to paint. I'm excited to actually take a bit of a break on it. I did paint a little bit yesterday, which was exciting. I had not been able to paint in the preparation for our live stream. In advance of that, it was really fun, but it was crazy. So that's all on. That's on our YouTube channel, and I'm sure you can get on it on Twitch for a while, but I think it's nearly 9 hours or 8.5 hours probably actually. We had some technical issues initially with the YouTube streaming as well, but you know, Nikki and I actually really like this streaming on YouTube because we have so many people that don't know we stream get to see that we are streaming, and it's really fun. You know, it's nice for people to see that because we've been doing this for 4 years, actually more than, because we really started full-time, not full-time, but it was like 3 days a week during the pandemic often. And it was mostly Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we'd sometimes do Fridays. What else did we have to do? But we're excited to when we get the chance to do something like we did on the weekend, because we used to do 24-hour live streams, 25-hour live streams if it was a time change, daylight saving, and those were hard. I mean, you know, they were fun, but they were hard. And I tried to stay up all the way through, and I mostly did it. I think one of the last times I had to take a nap. I was just so worn out. I don't think Scott was here that year. Usually Scott's here, and the two of us can power through it. Though I don't know what that would do to me now. I mean, I think about like the times I used to have to make it through for school. You know what I mean? I would do projects, and no matter how much prep, I mean, example, I don't have my gifts wrapped for anybody. Don't have a ton of them to do, but I do have gifts to wrap today. A lot of them should be simple. But you know, I hope to do them Sunday or Monday, and I did not. I had other things I was doing. Well, I came out here and painted for a while. Nikki was wrapping, so I was trying to give her some space, and because both of us just have not had the time. And Nikki's helping her parents. They're doing all kinds of, you know, shopping as well. So we have this one car that we did here. I'll just cut to it. So our friend, where is that? Oh, there we go. I actually know that I should be using the software that we have here. So we use vMix, and it's pretty great for the most part. But this was made by Sebastian for Gaslands, and it's Nikki and me. There's Nikki there with an axe, and me. I think she's driving and got an axe. I'm just taking it easy. But there was a little spider living in here when I moved it the other day. I've been really trying to, so I organized, because we really needed to have things organized for the with all the people in here, because my mom was in here a good chunk of the stream, and we had 9 or 10 people at one point, maybe more, because we had an overlap. Some folks, I actually had people arriving at 3, and I think Brian and Tashi had to leave the earliest, and Tashi was very sad to be leaving. But let me actually zoom, let me make some clear some room so you can see this. So I got all of Scott's miniatures to paint. I might as well say these guys, these are here. This is Mockingbird. I worked on her yesterday to try to finish it up. I'm going to finish it today. I might do some more on the hair at some point here, but I'm not too worried about it. But I got their eyes pretty great. This one is harder. I don't quite know what, you know, it's the paint. The paint is a little thicker when it's rattle can. Wow, I meant to watch a video yesterday where somebody was saying something about paint cans. I've been trying to, you know, I always try to catch up on the people that I follow on YouTube. The one I actually, and I like Squidmar, but they do so much content now that I never catch up on it, and I should try. But anyway, I really like them. I think the eyes turned out pretty cool. and relatively consistent, which was what the goal was. I actually tried a specific method on all of them and was happy. So anyway, what I got here is a mess. No, it's really actually, I did a lot of organization. I had to get the miniatures. I might as well show you. So I have like these wooden trays that I got when I was working in an architectural office. When they were done, they were left with us. They were demonstrations. But this is like all the minis that I have off to the side, either mostly done or that need to be done. These are the ones that are finished that are for a friend. But it's a lot in here. But this is nothing. So I organized Scott's miniatures. I mean, I have many, many, many more minis. If I want to really make myself sad, I should start doing this, because this is the intimidation thing. Let me zoom this out so it doesn't have to move so fast. Because the other ones, you can see it, but it's not like you have to really. Hey, Attack Mac. Happy Yule. Merry Christmas to you. We are Christmas Eve here, so we used to do more on Christmas Eve with Nikki's family, but we mostly just do everything Christmas Day. So anyway, here is the tray of Scott's minis that have to be done. I mean, this is kind of a soul crusher when you see how much there is here. And I have to do not all of these, so this is the remainder of the very first wave that I have to do for Scott. I have quite a bit fewer of these to do for my other friend, and then I have not many at all. Actually, you just saw them in the other tray. I have probably 15 more to do for myself for the first wave. I would like to try to get them all done, but I mean, it's tons. And this isn't even all of them. There's large minis, but this is all 3 waves of Marvel United, and it's a lot. I've seen some pictures, and I didn't really kind of realize the scale until I pulled this out. But yeah, the large minis are behind, and there's a lot of bigger minis. The other thing I had happen, so this shipped, got kind of misshipped to us, and Scott and I packed it all, but it kind of got fouled up in a repack, and things broke. Most of it was just something popping out of the, I can actually probably show you that. Most of it was just the feet popping out of the base, which is the easiest version of that. Oh, I guess I've got a Picasso comb. I got to change that too. Let me do that real fast. Somebody check the game here. But yeah, the stream was fantastic. It was really fun. It kind of winded down to it was 5 of us at the end, and then Candace had to leave a little early. Not early. She had to leave by 8 because they had a roast that was baking or something like that. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's the holidays. I was very excited that we had as many people as we did. And Brian and Tashi were really fun. Tashi was amazing and funny. And Jackie was fun. She actually got together with some rock and rollers. I can't remember who it was. I know one of them was someone I peripherally know. It was Steve McDonald from Red Cross. And she'd asked, I can't remember, she told me I should see the documentary, and I was like, well, I kind of know those guys. I went to the same school at the same time, basically. His older brother, Jeff, was 1 year older than me, and then I think there might be a gap between him, my brother, and Steve. I don't know. I thought they were the same year. But anyway, so they all came over, several folks came over to her place, and they played Rock Hard 1977. So that was on Sunday, so I'm eager to hear how that turned out. So this one, Luke Cage popped out of the thing. It doesn't even really look like there's a lot of glue there. So I'll have to super glue that one back in. And the same here. I don't know who this is. Is it, she's a could be good, could be bad person. But yeah, this one's got little teeny holes for it to mount. Is that right there, maybe? I guess so. That's probably the position. So, that's mild. The other downer is it just scratched the primer on it, because they were kind of like shipped together. I keep these separate so that I know that I have to glue them. but it chipped the primer, and so I've been touching up what I can as I see it. But this one, if you look at this, it has the tiniest connection point to the base. And I think this is all, oops, I'll probably break it again. This one's all one piece, and these posts glue in. So one little tiny thing, and of course it was broken. So I pinned it, and I think I did a pretty good job. I have pinned something on stream before. It's not hard to do. It's worth doing it. When you put stuff together. And if I were building this miniature on my own and not have it built by Simon, I would have absolutely pinned it, because it is just crazy. So it seems pretty tough. And now I'll probably cut the others off, or maybe try to snap them. I don't know, because I got 2 more of these to do, and I don't want them to get destroyed. But I can't remember what this one's called, Zoop or something like that. We've gotten to the point in the Marvel United, I'm sure that's probably why they switched to DC, that I don't know the characters. Let's see, do I have to paint? I did her eyes already, so those are good. I kind of want to paint some eyes on the stream, but I don't really have any that I need to paint. Although this was essentially the same method as the Mockingbird, so it looks cool. I mean, the eyes look massive. I must not just be painting them large enough, but they look massive on the photos that they do. I'm kind of disappointed. The latest the updates from the latest campaign, DC United, whatever it's called, DC Heroes United, I think. They don't have photos. Now they have a photo book, and I will be happy. I did back it like a crazy person. Hey Muffin McStuffin. Hey Muffin Stuffin. That one was Black Widow. I don't think so. This one's Black Widow. Here's what she looks like. This one's okay. I had between this one and this one, for whatever. Oh, I know, this was dry brushed. So the Black Widow was dry brushed, and her skin looked too spotty. I pulled out here's another one. So this is kind of how it looked. And that's okay, but like for the flesh, it's not great. Well, I did a poor job of covering the face with, I think I tried to use a flesh tone, which if you're using like a light gray instead of a straight white, or just thin it and do multiple coats, very thin coats to cover it up. But it's fine. It's a miniature. I'm not going to, make myself crazy. But I think ultimately between them, they look pretty good. Of course, it's way brighter on Scott's Rattle Can Primed, and this one was probably a little overpainted, but she looks great. And this one's cool too. I do love the airbrush shading. I just have a harder time getting the brights to the level that I would really like them to be. But anyway, this one's pretty awesome. And this was completely dry brushed undercoating. And the one thing I think is that you probably need to do an undercoat of the face, the flesh, to make it a little smoother, in my opinion. And I probably should try doing more rattle can stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I have a lot to paint though. I mean, I'm looking at other minis here too. I have 2. Those are already done. I have 2. I probably don't have 15 of the Marvel United first wave to do. I got a few, but not a ton. I really want to get to Marvel United Multiverse, because I want us to do those on a stream. On a show. So yeah, here's Shang-Chi, and I've already started painting the face. I did not, but you can see how much brighter the undercoat is. Now, you could say that the characters are comic booky, and so brighter is better. I still like the shading. I mean, you still get some shading here, but I like the intensity of the shading. I just would like the brights to be a little brighter. I think his skin looks pretty good, but you can see between the two of them, I airbrushed both of these, I think, at the same time. And you can't even get it consistent then. You probably could if you're a better, I mean, I've airbrushed for decades. You could probably get better. It's just, you're dealing with 3 dimensions. And I think I've talked about it before. So, I'm having fun with this, trying to do the same thing with multiple minis. And it's challenging. So when I was in college, I was doing, tried to do a project where I painted the exact same, within reason, exact same painting twice. And holy cow, was it hard. I don't think I even finished that project. I'd done that more than once though, but I do like the challenge of trying to match the technique. Because you can't paint them simultaneously, right? You can sort of do that, but you're still working on one and working on the other. And with an airbrush, and at the time I had one airbrush, so I didn't have anything, I didn't have multiple nozzles that would give me better coverage. But I pulled him out, but I'm going to work on him. I want to finish Mockingbird here. So, I mean, I don't know that I'm done, but I'm kind of done. Is there something going on? I guess that's a shadow. I'm looking at the reference photo, but I'm sad that they don't have the reference photos. I'm hoping that they're included in that book for everything. I saved everything I could. I always save them because I don't know, like, I'd have to say I don't know like 75% of these characters of all of them. I just don't know it. I didn't read the comics. I have fun painting them though. So I need to paint the bases on these. Do I need to do that on these too? No, these are done. These are done too. Okay, so I need to paint the bases. What I do usually is just shade them. I might do a little bit, so that they're still gray. I like the figure to have the color. I mean, I've always kind of done that where, well, not always, but often. I mean, I did do something on this where I painted the base, like the earth, kind of a brownish green, and then the flagstones or whatever, a gray. And this one I actually washed. So this is a little. I think I painted this on a stream ages ago. But I do love these. I love Marvel. Excuse me, not Marvel, but the Warhammer Underworlds, because of the bases. I mean, it's fun to do bases, but I'm never going to make anything look like this. I'm not that great of a sculptor. I was watching Rogue Hobbies was doing a mini, and she put a bunch of cobblestones down and then changed her, realized that the mini would not sit straight. So she ended up covering up the bulk of the cobblestones. So that was a bummer. Anyway, so I will basically do these with a gray wash, which is basically right now just this. I'm using a Basilicanum contrast gray that is too dark. I mean, it's what the color is, but I use it thinned out a lot. And then this one in particular is bad because I spilled it once, and I don't know what happened, but I lost the bulk of the pigment. And so, not the pigment, but the way it works is it's they're kind of like an ink with a sort of a paint medium, and then they put some pigment in it, like ground pigment. So if you, actually I can show you one right here. So this is the bottom of one of these bottles. This is, it's not shaken up. And so when it gets shaken up, it's in there and it helps settle to make the shading. This one has nothing. This is stuff that's still stuck in there. It is none. So I'm just using this, which is great because I've got hundreds of minis to paint. I will burn through this soon enough. But I still thin it down. It's not really thin it down, but reduce the intensity of the color with contrast medium. Wow, it's getting there. Holy cow. Is this the right? Yeah, it's Basilicanum gray. Wow. I'm almost through this. Amazing. Let me mix that up more. It looks a little thick. I didn't realize how far I'd gotten on that. That's very exciting. So I will end up using regular contrast medium. I mean, Basilicanum gray. But wow, this is fantastic. I actually probably should just thin this down or not thin it down, as I say, but reduce the intensity. with the contrast medium because I need more contrast medium. Although I really don't. I'm trying not to buy stuff until I really need it. So I use the end of a brush, and in this case, these are not actually brushes. These were little standoffs that they put in with brushes. These are some inexpensive brushes I bought, and I bought them twice. One on Amazon and one on, I know I have the tube around here somewhere. But they put these in there to protect one of them in each group to protect the bristles. So they rubber band them all together. And these are inexpensive brushes, but they're pretty good. I mean, I have been using the same few for ages now. I've switched to using these Saks brushes, which are great too. I did try to do the hot water to straighten out the hook, and it kind of works. Where's the other one? Oh no, this is it. This is the one that had the biggest hook. So I think it kind of worked. On these, this is golden Taklon, so these are synthetic brushes. This actually reduced the hook. But I have all these, this is a 3, this is a 4. This one, it doesn't quite have the point. I mean, if you get it wet, but you kind of want it to have the point when it's sort of dry. But it doesn't quite have the same point. They're nice, they work. Some of them are fantastic, but for the price, I paid as little as $26 for 144 brushes. I won't use them all, because here's some of the other sizes. There's a 5, this is a 2, and this is a 1. So I think this is the smallest you get. For me, the bristles, particularly on the 1, are not, there's too many. It's a thick, which is not a bad thing if you're trying to paint stuff. You need to hold a good amount of paint in the brush. I was painting the eyes, and I was using this brush, which has a bigger belly, but I also ended up using a smaller brush, and it's just not enough. Actually, I was using this. This is really what I was using, and this was one that came with some of the. This was a speed paint brush that came with the speed paints I got, and it's fine. But I was just doing the eyes. I just wanted a good point. But yeah, these are just not strong. It's okay, but I want them to be a little bit less bristles. But the others, I really like the 4s. The 4s are fantastic. They mostly keep their point for a while. But the great thing is when you get 144 brushes for 25 to, I didn't say the rest. So from 25 to about $40. And I think I got the $25 ones on Amazon. So I saved money on that one. Now you have to keep your eye on it. But it's like Royal and Langnickel. Where is that tube? I have a tube full of them. Anyway, Royal and Langnickel, they make like school type stuff. And so does these. Boy, I am really trying to destroy these brushes. I just dropped this one again. Boy, where is it? I see it. I can feel it. There we go. Oh, it was a yellow one. But when they cost like 30, 25 cents, whatever it is, a brush, it's a great deal, especially if you're starting out. I don't think you need to buy $25 of, 144 brushes, but even these, so these are inexpensive as well. I think I got like maybe 6 for, I don't know, they were not very expensive Saks. I ended up getting from a school supply because it's the worst thing. I'm sad that we don't have a artist store near us anymore. We had one that was fantastic because it's good. Really, you should look at the brushes you buy. Because even brushes that are made by manufacturers, look at this. I've got these damn things open, and they can spill. Art brushes, even fantastically, ones made by Winsor Newton, which is one of the better brands, or Raphael or Da Vinci, they could be poorly put together, or they could have just gotten messed up in shipping or something. They ship them with these tubes on the ends of the to protect them, and these are actually valuable too. Tools. they still could be messed up, and you really want to know that before you buy it. I don't know how you figure that out anymore. And it's not fun to ship that stuff back to Amazon or wherever you buy from. Because I bought from Dick Blick. They're fine. They have stores here in Southern California, but they're not close. I used to go, as a matter of fact, I think it's been 7 years since I've been to one. Because it was in, shoot, I don't even know for sure where that was at. Maybe, gosh, I don't remember. And I only went to that one once, because I was basically a destination trip after I went to work one day. So about 7 years, actually probably a little more than 7 years. I've been doing full-time BGG for 7 years now. Let's see here. I don't want to get other paint in the contrast medium, so I generally, I try to. It's hard to actually remember it all the time. Because I get excited to put the color in, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, I needed a, maybe too intense still. Well, let's see, let's put some on. The other thing I find a challenge with having too many paints, which is now the situation because I bought this, 50 bottle set from Army Painter. I bought the War Paints Fanatics set, one of them. I mean, they have 200 something paints, 213 or 212. I wasn't going to spend, I don't even know if you can get that set anymore. They have like an ultra set now, which is 200 something bottle. Is that right? 100 something bottles. That's what it is. And it's expensive. This one is $200 list. I did get a reasonable good deal on Amazon and used a gift certificate. That's what pushed me over the line. And it's worth it, probably. I just don't have a lot of standard acrylics. But I was saying the problem with having lots of paints is you need to mix them. Unless you're using them all the time, which is not always the case for me, especially. They settle, and that's bad because you can. I'm not really sure what happened, but I have. I paint a lot of minis, but I guess I don't use as much paint as I think. But I was going through the bottle of. I was using the bottle of. The other day, particularly, of Pro Acryl Bright Titanium White. I think that is what it's called. It's right here. Bold Titanium White. Great paint, but it was coagulating, and I use it. So I mean, I don't know what triggered it. Maybe temperature changes. This one too was even worse. And this is the transparent white, so it's like a. It's basically what I'm doing, like where you're adding medium to your paint to reduce the intensity of it. So it's an interesting, I have all the transparent paints from, I think, or most of them anyway, of the transparent paints from them. But the Bold Titanium White I've had for a while because I bought it when they were still distributed by Creature Caster. And so it came, I don't know if it actually came from Canada, but it was made in Canada. They weren't just distributed by Creature Caster, they were made in Canada, and now they're made in Arizona. It's true, Monument does the daily stream live. I have actually watched their stream. I doubt they'll be streaming today, but yes, I actually should check it out. I have friends that work with them. I mean, Adam Smasher used to. I don't think that he does anymore because he's now part of the I don't know what they call the team for Army Painter, and I have his brushes that they used to sell on Monument Hobbies site, and I really like those brushes. Now, I believe what it is it was a mix of brushes that he liked and just grouped, right? So the 3 brushes, and they were all synthetic. I have also they've changed I don't know if they changed the manufacturer. I think what they've done is I read somewhere that they do like the ferrule in with the bristles in Europe maybe, and then they ship them here without the handles, and then they put the handles on here. But and that may be just a way to reduce the shipping costs, right? Because it's a bunch of wood that doesn't matter. You could see how it could be done, where you pack the ferrule with the bristles and then just leave this and then crimp it on to the handle when you get it here. But oh wow, they're gonna do one today. They're like me, crazy person, gonna do one today. I will have to check it out. I do have to wrap gifts though. But yeah, they're great. Their paints are nice. I really like them. I have quite a bit of them. I've been buying the Signature Series ones. I have a couple of those. I have Louise's from Rogue Hobbies, which is a nice set. If you watch her video for them, it's pretty great. Hey, look at that. Came apart. Now, was this one that I soaked in hot water? That's pretty funny. So yeah, these are not great, but they're fine. I mean, my feeling is don't spend a lot of money on a paintbrush until you know that you like doing this stuff. Now, here's the thing. Using a good paintbrush definitely can raise your results. So, you take that with a grain of salt. Now, what's $25, which is basically what a good paintbrush costs nowadays at a minimum, maybe $15. It's their founding color. It's the one that went bad. So it's not bad. I just had to thin it. Like both of these went bad like at the same time. Or not went bad, but thickened up. Now, I might have underthinned this one, which is a little disappointing, but I used it yesterday and I'm like, it's still fine. But I'm going to order another bottle. But yeah, it's weird. So I love this paint. I think it's great. I've used it for a long time. It's not full, but it's not empty either, shockingly. But I don't use a ton of straight white. The one that I actually kind of like now, and I know that they're having problems because they're in strikes, is I tried it in, I've used it before too, by the way, but the Vallejo Dead White or whatever it's called now. I used that in Germany when we were there in October, and I was completely floored by the quality when I airbrushed. So I was mentioning earlier I have a problem getting the whites bright enough for me when you're doing the zenithal, the topmost brightness. And I cheated. I airbrushed their face as well a little bit to increase the so you can see I still want the shadows, but I want their face to be brighter. I don't want it to look like 5 o'clock shadow. And it was amazing. I barely used any. I did it, so it was on these, and I was just knocked out, like how great it looked in one coat. That was the challenge. This is one coat to get that, and that for me is like the right level of brightness that gives you, because I want to look like stone. Now, the one bad thing is this. Sebastian rattle canned this with black paint, and the black paint was coming off. So I don't know that I clean them. I'm at the mercy of somebody else's. I don't want to spray in their house and things like that. And he did it outside and it was kind of cold, but we've done it many times when I've been over there and it's been perfectly fine. But this one was flaking, particularly on this broken statue piece. But I was knocked out by how quickly, I think he had to go to work, and so I airbrushed by myself. I cleaned his airbrush. I clean his airbrush once a year because he does a terrible job. He's like, I know you're coming, so you'll do it. But he's teasing. But I'm Mr. Clean Everything. I always clean it. So I'll tell you that in a minute. But the white there was just great. Now I need to buy some. The problem is we don't have a store nearby that carries that. At least the game color, because I want game color, even though the white does not have to be a game color. Because they have, that's the thing about Vallejo, they have tons of military type colors, but the game colors are like the fantasy and sci-fi stuff. But yeah, I would like to get more, actually. I'm trying not to buy too much paint, so this is the thing. I really probably, let me mute this. I really probably shouldn't have bought the Army Painter, but I was probably falling for that, but I got to tell you, they're pretty nice. I have been using like about 15 standard colors, sort of ish, from Vallejo. I mean, excuse me, Monument, the Pro Acryl. I have. My problem is, of course, the bottles are a little tall and big, but I love the fact that there's a lot of paint. Rinse after every color, clean after every session. Yeah, I mean, that's how I do. I'm also I watch people like, oh, but like once a week you really need to do a deep cleaning. I do the deep cleaning every time I paint with the airbrush because I know the problems I've had over the years. I've been painting forever, and if you would to see my airbrushes, I have a lot of airbrushes. I can actually show you my very first airbrush, which was a Badger, and it is still in great shape. I have replaced the nozzle once in, 30-something years maybe. My parents gave that to me when I was a teen. It was really great. I mean, I don't even remember like the situation. I must have expressed that I wanted it. My dad was always encouraging of my artistic stuff, endeavors, you know. And I ended up changing my degree because of his suggestion, because I was going to be an engineer. Wow, see, that's not closed. This is the other thing about these bottles. They just don't close easily. And there's paint in the lid, no matter what I do. And it's frustrating. I love the contrast paints. I think they're really great. I've been using some of the Army Painter ones. I bought the Fire Giant Orange that I had used. Now I bought the 2.0, but the ones that I used here were the 1.0. Hey, look at that, his arm fell off. This is what's so great about these minis. This is where you need to pin. Anyway, I'll glue that back on. But that's the color that I used, and I really liked it. And I think, I have not tested it yet, but nobody had an orange in Germany. And we couldn't buy one unless we bought a set. And I couldn't find this color, Griffhound Orange. I think this is similar. It sure does look kind of similar. You know, because there's almost a analog for every color in each of everybody's ranges, but I want to try it anyway. I'm not blown away. For me, what happens is it starts to dry on the belly of the brush. Like I'll get crust relatively quickly, and it was kind of impeding the quality of the session. Hey, Time Roller, and I was like, wow. So I think what really needs to happen is I need to learn how to use those paints better. That's just the speed paints, but I like them, and they're not. The colors have been great. Actually, this color on her outfit is one of the speed paint colors that speed paints. Yeah, that's right, speed paints that I tried. I should not be touching these. But yeah, it's wow. I'm really making a mess. But yeah, I clean everything. I mean, this is the thing. Sebastian doesn't waste time doing that. He just gets to work. Like he has one of these, this is a 3D printed thing around it, but one of these Citadel paint pots, or at least one, and it's just covered in paint. He just doesn't care. My thing is I'm always, now once it's dry, it's not gonna be a problem, except for maybe if it flakes off and gets in stuff. Hey, thanks a lot, Graham-tastic. Merry Christmas to you too, Eve. I'm hoping to have we have everybody coming over tomorrow. Now the funny thing is this was a plastic cement that I used here. This was the Revell, and I really like the Revell paints. You can't get them easily here. It's a triangular shaped bottle that you can, wow, I don't know where that goes. It doesn't have it looks like it has a spot for it to mount to, but it's not really a lot of glue. Anyway, it's a triangular shaped bottle with a needle to apply the paint. the glue, which is pretty awesome. This is Tamiya, which I like the Tamiya a lot. Let's see if I can make this work without destroying the paint job so far. It's very thin, but so is the Revell one. But yeah, they don't sell. I mean, I've looked for it online here, and it's not to buy, and I'm not going to buy it and bring it back to the United States. Probably should have put it on the arm itself. Oh, it's there. Now, I really like the plastic glue, and it's often difficult to take the model off without breaking, or a piece off if you're trying to change something without breaking things. I like the holster. I did some work on that recently. Weathered it a bit. It's cool. These are neat. I would like to have more. I have basically 2 sets of 10. I have I can't remember what they're called, but the Kill Team Hearthkin ones, and then this is just the Warriors. I would really like to get 2 thin coats as a match for every Citadel color. 100% Angzar. It's the part Angzar Arts. That's the thing. I would love to buy their stuff. They have the first wave at Geeky Tees in Burbank, which isn't exactly close. It's like 18 miles away or something like that. And you know, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're in LA, it could be a long drive. And I've been there, and I'm looking for a specific color every time, and they don't have it. I hope that they get more of the waves. They're distributed in the US by Asmodee, I believe. And you would think Asmodee would go for it, you know, to like get them covered, you know, to make the money from that. Because, I mean, there's money to be made by the paints. I watch he's really actually pretty great. I think I don't know if he's Dutch. I don't like being ignorant of this, but he might be German. Stolly, Tale of Painters. He has a YouTube channel that's only got like 20,000 subscribers, but he reviews paints. And someone I was talking to said that they think that he is in cahoots with Vallejo, which I do not believe, because I feel he says he's honest about all this stuff. And he was saying the reason why this even came up was I used this bright red. I did a comparison. Let me see if I can find that miniature, where I was trying the bright Pyrrole red, which is a bold Pyrrole red. They use bold, not bright. But this is like supposedly Ferrari red, and it is amazing. And I compared the 2 paints, because, you know, Stolly's contention is that they use white in the, why was I doing this red? It wasn't this red, it was this red. Where is it? It wasn't a speed paint, it was this one, pure red. And, you know, they look kind of similar, but when you put them on the miniature, his point is he feels that let me see if I can find it. It's one of these 40K figures. And the end result was I'm like, he's right. The color looks like it has white, so it has better coverage. So your intensity of red is not that strong. I ended up using it on a mini too. Here you go. So you might not see it, but these are the 2 colors. And I don't know if anybody's really paying attention, but, and it may not really translate on camera, but this is the Army Painter Pure Red, also known as Cool Reds. Is that the name? That can't be. Oh, Vivid Red. Okay, there we go. And then this is the bold Pyrrole Red. The bold Pyrrole Red is what I want when I'm painting red. But when I want a straight red. And it's weird. This one looks like it has white in it. I don't know. I could be wrong. It might be the smallest amount of white pigment, but I believe he's making the right case. That was the conversation with somebody who's like, I think that, you know, we believe that he's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know, man. They seem like to me that Can I pick that guy up by his arm? Let's see here. It's drying good. Okay, good. Now that would be a weird one to pin because it has a hole in it. That is a weird construction on that. I don't remember doing that when I put it together. I put it together last year. The roadways alone are why I'll never live in LA. I've lived in Tucson. Is Tucson pretty bad? What games we have lined up for tomorrow? I don't know. My mom, she was actually, maybe we'll try some party games. My mom's like, when she was watching a stream on Sunday, or Saturday, she's like, I would have fun with those games. So maybe we'll do that. Nikki's parents, her dad is in his 80s now. And he is just getting a little spacey. You know, I hung out with him on Thanksgiving and engaged with him, and we did some stuff together, which is fun. He really wants to come out and have me do some 3D printing and stuff with him, but things have changed since he said that. And he's come over and hung out with Nikki a few times and us, but not many. We've been together a long time, and even with her mother, they don't come that often, right? We got to go there to see them, and they don't live that far from us. I think they're actually closer than my mom. And we see my mom. Now, my mom's by herself. My dad passed away 24 years ago? No, 23 years ago. And 23 and a half. But we see her because, you know, she's by herself and it's a little rough. So it's a challenge. Let's see here. Yeah, the bold pyro might, I mean, it does kind of, so it looked orangish on the miniature itself, you think? Maybe it is. I mean, I mean, of course, there's no monitors and getting the color representation. It is probably, I mean, if there's one color here is this one here? Reddish orange. That's the actual color. And I love this color, by the way, this bright red. It was this color that I used. Let's see, I have, he's got it. His armor is this color. Sebastian, so what happened was we were trying to get that orange paint. What the story is I've told this many times, is we were painting and they had a paint day that they were doing, which is awesome. Their group in Bonn is amazing. And these people, they have access, like a community center that's in an estate, you know, an estate that is owned by the city now. And they had a paint day. And we went there and there was 15 people, more than that maybe. Actually probably 20, and there was some game playing going on too. It's multi-level, you know, like almost like a country home type of a thing, you know. I went to study those when I was in college in the UK. And it was amazing. And so what happened was I'm painting these, and I decided I wanted to do orange, and it's hilarious because I mean I see pictures later. The ones I was looking at were like cream and blue maybe or something like that. And then since then, I think maybe the Kill Team ones are orange. I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't really out there thinking on it. But he didn't have any orange, like at all. He must have had some in standard paint. But anyway, I mean, he's like me. He'll mix colors. But he didn't have any orange on hand. And one of the ladies that was there had the paints. And so she loaned me Now, I was trying to work quickly. And, you know, the paints dry relatively quick, even with, you know, you have a little pool of it. So she needed it back. But I did what I could. And then we were trying to get more to finish these. And I might have... I mean, there's a difference between these. And it could be the fact that some were painted... I mean, this one's not done, but some were painted with the 1.0 paint and some were with the others, so they're not identical. But I don't get hung up on that too much. I just want some consistency on that. Oh yeah, this is what I painted with the red, these missiles. So this was the bold pyrrole red. I mean, I don't really, you know, I think we all perceive color probably maybe slightly differently. Downtown Tucson, during rush hour, was a parking lot and pedestrian injuries and deaths. Oh, wow. That's terrible. Because the interstate doesn't reach northeast Tucson. Wow. I do love all these colors. I mean, the reality is I love color. I am like a color crazy person. And I feel I don't get hung up on it like too much. I wish I had the other mini out here, but like this is the one, like kind of a standard paint job that I did a while back for Space Hulk. I have another unit from this, and it's a different look. It's more fiery red. And I'm not really, you know, that's just based, like I worked on this one by itself, probably at the time, because I was working full time for a week, you know. And then I started the other one a little bit like a week later or 2 weeks later, and it just came out different. You know, you kind of have to paint them simultaneously if you want them to be the same. And I just don't work like that. And I don't mind it. I feel like things are going to look different. They're going to get abused differently. They're going to get worn out differently. Anyway, but yeah, I would love to. So you don't live in Tucson now, though? Yeah, I want to get more of the. I want to try. I have not tried the Duncan Rose paints. Now, here's the deal. I don't really need any paints, and I don't. My feeling is those could be made by the same people that used to make the Games Workshop paints, because they've switched to a in-house, and I don't know when they started doing in-house, but Stolly and Squidmar noticed that the paints were different. So yeah, you can see this is settling. This is the Rattle Can White, and it is definitely a different kind of finish. I had a heck of a time getting the blue to go on. It kind of looked like a sponge, and it absorbed it quickly. And then once it got going, it was perfectly fine, but it took more coats to cover it. Now, that's because I'm using well, that was speed paint, as a matter of fact. I should try the contrast paint on the. Have I done any other ones of Scott's yet? I don't think so. I mean, I only just recently got these. I do need to paint the edge of the base, and I'll probably put a little bit of silver on the. Oh yeah, fantastic! Gramtastic saying one of my absolute favorite contrast paints is Basilicon Gray. It is truly my favorite, probably my favorite color of the contrast paints, or one of the greatest ones. It is a great color. I use it for leather. I use it because, you know, leather isn't black. Like, I mean, it's black, of course, but it doesn't look that black in real life. So if you use like, and believe me, these are great colors too. I have both of this is the newer black, Black Legion, and then Black Templar, and they're both great. But I think Basilicanum Gray does a better job of looking like leather in the real world. Let me see, did I paint this with Basilicanum Gray? I believe I did. So this, oh, you can't see it. I believe I painted this with Basilicanum Gray. So that's the level of like the intensity it can be, I think. I can't remember, she was painting a little while ago. But I've definitely done it. Like I had like, let me see if I have one here. I don't see, he's over here. I'm pretty darn certain I painted Nick Cage Jr. With the Basilicanum Gray. So I was giving him, he's dusty though. Yeah, this was like, and this was reduced intensity, but I painted his coat as a, wow, it's really dusty. As a, and this was reduced intensity, as I say, but it's a great color. It's a little browner maybe, I guess, but it's a fantastic color. North Carolina, oh wow. So I have a bunch of friends that live in North Carolina. I mean, Eric Martin is in North Carolina, our news editor and writer. You know, he's a main guy for BGG. He's lived everywhere, because I think he was in San Francisco at one point too. I have not moved that much. I moved a lot when I was younger, and then once I moved in with Nikki, we're at this. She lived with me in an apartment for a little while, and then when we moved to the house, we've been here the whole time now. It's cool. Let's see here. Do we have any eyes? I really want to paint some eyes. We need to do her. Did I actually, I don't think I did her. Ugh, can I find her? She's probably in here. I feel like I did not do her eyes. Electra. And I might have put her in the So I've got the tray of the painted stuff here. These look good when you see them all together. I mean, they're fun, and I really am enjoying painting them. I have to repaint. I'm not going to repaint these, but I have to do paint jobs for these others. There she is. Oh, I painted her eyes. Okay, cool. I feel like I forgot somebody. Maybe it was Jessica Jones, and I painted her eyes. Pretty sure. I was very tempted to paint, I still may do it, one of these as really Karen Page. Because, you know, who cares? It would be fun. Yeah, I didn't do a good job on her lips, so it's okay. Well, you can't see it. I need to paint her too. I actually should wait on this one because let me see if I can find it here. I have Scott's to do as well. So many minis. But I'm excited to do it. Boy, where is she? Oh, there she is, Electra. So she probably needs some touch-up. Is that Jessica Jones or Jennifer? Yeah, it's Jessica Jones. Yeah, there's Jessica Jones. Let's see how that one looks. So you can see it looks kind of like granite. You know, the skin. So I'm gonna have to fix both of these. I will probably. Scott didn't really. I mean, it's hard, right? He's doing it with a rattle can. It's difficult, and this is cool contrast, but I think it's too dark for her face. So I may just brighten it up here and then work on her face a little bit. But you can see how it could kind of absorb the paint weird. I will try doing some of these with the contrast paints and see if it makes a difference. But I'm really having fun. I really enjoy. Thank you so much for saying that. The minis look great. I have a great time. They tend to be, like I said, a little darker, maybe because I'm doing the airbrush. But I try, you know, to do a reasonable. I really love MODOK. I was very excited to paint that. I mean, it's a massive face. I don't think I've ever painted a face bigger than that one. But like, I had a great time with all of these, you know, and I love it. I think it's a fun hobby, and I'm actually really enjoying the challenge of painting multiples now. I honestly wished I'd started on it when I was doing it. Now, Scott and I were painting together on streams, starting in 2020 maybe. Actually, probably 2021, because I think we did our stream. We did a con stream, was called Virtual Con in 2020, BGG Virtual Con. And so we started painting together on the stream, and he did a lot. He actually did quite a, and I felt he was doing great, you know, because he's not as precious as I am with painting this stuff. So it turned out really awesome. The can may be too cold. So, I mean, he painted them in his garage, so I don't know. Now, now has a conditioned garage. He did not at that time. So the way I'm going to paint this, I might as well just do her eyes. It'll be fun. I'm just eager to do it again in the same method. So I will put this here. I need to finish the Daredevil. I have two of them, though, because I have Scott's as well. Did I airbrush that one and touch it up? Oh, that one's not it. Oh, no, that was it. That's Scott's. That looks great. So that was Rattle Can as well. And, you know, he wasn't using, like, I think GW's Rattle Cans are great. They're just expensive. I think he was just using Rust-Oleum. And, you know, so these are the three that I have to do. Had already done this one previously. And I'm using that bright red that I wanted to try, which I really like. So this is ball red, and it looks a little cool, a little too cool for me. Although maybe that's what Daredevil's color is. I don't know. I'm not watched enough of that show yet. We need to watch it because Deborah's new season's coming in March. But yeah, this is, you know, different airbrushing and different rattle can, and I do like doing all of them. I think dry brushing is, and I've got lots to learn about dry brushing, because there is actually, my issue is, especially when I'm using white, is it's too dry. hilariously, I'm saying dry brushing, you say it's too dry, but it has to have some moisture in the brush to do a good job. And this is not how I understood dry brushing. You know, I don't even know. I mean, when I started painting, there weren't YouTube videos, so it was basically reading about it and painting with your friends. It was one of the greatest things. We used to paint. Hey, thanks for the follow, Brohaven Manor. Audio's chugging a little bit there. Thanks for the follow. The part of it is, you know, you just want to, like, having somebody else with you painting is an incentive thing, right? You get excited and you work together and you look forward to painting, and then you also look, wow, look at that, that one's open too. These are terrible, man. I don't like these bottles. I'm frustrated because I used that color a while ago, so who knows if it's dry. Let me see here. Sounds okay. I really don't. I mean, they kind of close, but I don't know. Let me zoom this out a little bit more. Or is this shifting? I feel like this lens is not. I'm having a problem with it. So the way it works is gravity, because I have it hanging directly down. I see some other better angles that people have, and I think that is the way to do it. We will see here. And I have it directly down. I can't really have it hanging over my shoulder to get a better angle, but this is okay. I have no problem painting like this. I just have a tendency to get my head in the way, which is not helpful. Anyway, so another thing that I've been doing lately is I've changed the way I use my wet palette. So this one's actually kind of soaked up all the water already. I don't, wow, it's kind of damp on the bottom. I clean it out every day. I have put them in the refrigerator, and that works, but it's not really, I'm not gaining anything, right? I don't use the paint generally the next day because it separates and it's not really usable anymore. So what I do now is I just clean it every day. I might give myself 5 minutes to actually clean it, and I will tell you now. This is the Redgrass hydration sheets. They're reusable hydration sheets that last. They had some other thing that they were going to try to do when they were doing the Kickstarter, and in the end, that didn't work. Which I think was maybe synthetic. I don't know. Because they were calling it a membrane. They still call it a membrane, but this is definitely different than what they said. Like, they were saying massively reusable, but they claim at least 4 times with this stuff. And I will tell you now, you can see, because I used this for a while, maybe yesterday? It was yesterday. There's a cloud of the color still there. But the sheet dried pretty easily. Wow, I better put that down. It's going to spill over the top. I don't like it to get on the paper because that's another thing. When you leave it if you leave it to sit, they end up just getting too hydrated and flowing around and mixing the colors up. So it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to use it anyway. But it's just usually when I'm painting, I'll be on a stream, and then it's time when I'm done. Nikki and I will have something to eat. And so I'm kind of in a rush, but even then, I'm like, now I'm going, okay, cleaning this every day, because I just can't do it. It just doesn't work well. Let's see here. I love Artis Opus dry brushing videos. I'm in love with the way he does his work. I need to, yeah, I'm gonna make it my own. I actually wanted to buy, I was gonna buy those. So at Gen Con, they had a booth, and they had some of the folks from Painting Phase there. I think they had, I can't remember his name. I don't watch them as much now that Peachy's not on there. I still watch, Patrick's, because he's actually a pretty decent painter. I think he doesn't give himself credit, but he's learning airbrushing techniques and stuff like that. So I've been watching that stuff. It's good enough. I don't remember the other guy's name, but they're just discussion mostly, and I'm not really that into that. But I'm sad that Peachy left. I understand probably that he needed to just be the captain of his own future there. So one of the things that people don't like about these is that you still have paint on the end. You have to clean it. So it's kind of a bummer. You're wasting some paint. But whatever. Actually, I'm going to use this paint to paint the bases of these pretty soon. So I could actually probably put a little bit more out. Let's just do that. But yeah, the Artist Opus stuff is fantastic. I saw one where he did like a flaming skull thing, and it was just amazing. So I need to practice with that technique, because my technique was, you know, doing it on a sponge. Doing it not on a sponge, but doing it on a tissue paper or paper towel. And I have developed that over the years where I don't reuse and I only go in one direction and things like that, and it's improved it. But I did some dry brushing recently, maybe on this. I was trying to dry brush this cable, and it was terrible, right? I'm like, I really need to try to get their technique down, because I feel like all I was getting was metallic flakes on there, which it looks fine, whatever. I've varnished it, so it should be okay. But I have another one to paint, so I will, the third one that I'll do. And so I'm going to try to learn that. So basically what everybody's suggesting, and it's 100% true, is just work on the technique first. Don't try to do the technique on the miniature necessarily. I'm a maker, so I make my own stuff whenever I can. I'm with you on that, Angzar. I have a 3D printer, resin one, and a FDM 3D printer over here, and then a laser cutter over here. I make my own. I gave up though on. Look at that. That is shifting. I gave up on making my own paint racks because I found a maker in Texas that's on Etsy called Mischief Maker, and he makes the greatest paint racks. The only downer is he uses MDF, and I wished he would use Baltic birch, but it's okay. The issue is I have one somewhere that I can show you one here that's kind of, I think this is the one that cracked. Oh, I'm sure it is because I see well, here's a little one. I'll show you this one because it's in the camera. So the way these work, I mean, is this one glued? No. You should glue them. But he makes them, so this is one of the inside ones. So this is for the Vallejo / Army Painter, you know, standard eyedropper style bottle. These go inside a larger rack. So this holds 10 paints. Then there's a larger rack. You put these in the back side of them, and so you can nest it. And these hold 52 paints on the, so 72 paints total in the rack. And you know, they have little holes for the brushes and things like that. These are amazing. And nesting is hugely helpful because I can put the lesser used stuff and tuck them in behind. And I absolutely should be doing that. I have this paint thing and it's not even being used. And I got the freebie that they give you in that Army Painter 50 set paint set. Is that right? 50 paints? Yeah, 50 paint set. And it's fine, but it's definitely not as good. And it drives me crazy because everything's leaning forward on it. And I really love this guy's. His stuff is not that expensive. And when it's often on the holidays, they'll have a sale like shipping or reduced cost on the sets. And like for $30 or 30, the GW one's great too. The GW one holds 90 something paints. So it actually has 3 tiers. So it's 1, 2, 3, it's 8. It's 48 in the main rack, then 32 in the secondary rack, and then 9 in each individual of the 2 racks. So it has a total of 4 racks that nest together. It's amazing. Amazing, amazing. The only issue with the Citadel one is you can't put the contrast paints in the nested racks because they're too tall. If you use the standard bottle stuff, it's perfectly fine. Wow, that bottle doesn't look like it closed either. I don't like looking at that. I've always dipped in the paint pot, so does a wet palette make a difference? And when, yeah, so Angzar is having the same problem I have. In Southern California, it's just dry here. A wet palette will keep your paint workable much longer, and it's like at the right level. So you can put because it's wet, I can put a drop of water. Let me just actually use a drop of water. I did overdo it here a little bit on the hydrating it, but it'll evaporate. It evaporates so quickly. But you can put a drop of water on the palette and then use that as your water source for the mini, you can't see this, to do the paints. Move it over here. And it's fantastic. Like so I haven't, now you can see it's kind of like already started to flow just from the hydration of the moisture coming through the, what they call the membrane, but it's just paper. I mean, it must have some plasticizer or something going on in there. But you can easily blend. It keeps so, when you blend, you thin the color out. And if you have it on a wet palette, it keeps it active longer. So you can keep coming back to that. You can paint a range of color and then just keep coming back to the palette to draw the color off it. They're really great. This one is the red grass one. I actually have two. I have a larger red grass one, which I tucked away the other one yesterday. Oh, it's down here. The only downer about red grass is they do sell some of their stuff on Amazon, but I think that they don't have distribution here in the US. And they make great stuff. They have lamps that are nice. But I have actually I've also gotten into Hobby Holder. Gosh dang it, what's their name? What is their name? Oh, I have it right here. Game Envy. They used to be Hobby Holder. They changed it. I can't remember the guy's name. Kit. I talked with him at Gen Con. I mean, I backed him from the beginning. This is a great hobby holder that you can, you put a bottle top on it. It's standard bottle sizes. Wow, this should come out easier than this. You can change the holder. These just pop. I have different ones. In the first Kickstarter, he gave you the STLs to make your own handles, and this is a great handle too. But this is all, you just pop it and change it. So these are tall. There's a tall and a shorter handle on it, which is great. You can rest, you can rest your hand while painting. Now I obviously need a taller thing because I can't really do, but you can paint with just this. It's a really cool, I did buy yellow submarine colors. It's a really cool set. They have now a wet palette called the Exemplar that they've kickstarted twice. I ended up backing one on the last one. I can't remember which one I bought. I think I bought, they had special versions, and I think I got the Turbo Dork one. I mean, it hasn't showed up yet. I know that they're having issues with, they're getting everything, but they're having issues with the everything coming in at the same time, so I did not get anything yet. But others have gotten their wet palettes and stuff. Their wet palettes are nice. They have, one thing that they have that this does not, the red grass ones do not, they have a little tiny vent that can help resist mold. They also have little copper inserts that theoretically help resist mold. I will show you why so you can't see it now, but this is paint, this is mold, this is mold. This is what happened the last time. I cleaned this off, and this was very, very purple the other day. And I'm like, what? And this was overnight, literally like overnight, or maybe a day and a half, I can't remember exactly. And I was really frustrated because I'm like, what the heck? So that is why I'm cleaning the palette every time. I am eager to see how it works. Now, the reason why it's frustrating, I end up using a new sponge on this, and I almost ordered more. They were having like their Black Friday sale, and I'm not really concerned about the cost necessarily. I just was like, if I'm gonna order something, I usually want to order a bunch of stuff from them. So it's just easier and get it in one order. And but man, the exemplars are pretty awesome. So those are US. You can buy some already. They have now 3 different sizes, I think. I bought, I think, the smallest one. because I really don't need gigantic wet palette here. I don't have the room. So the reason why I have 2 red grass is because I actually had 2. It was too big, the original one. I'm like, oh, I'll get the studio. That's the big one at the time. And I think they still call it the studio. They have just a slightly different sizes on them. So this time I got their newer one. And it's great. It definitely seals, but I feel like sealing too tight. So my old school wet palette, which was actually Nikki that introduced me to that, was basically like it's a metal tray with porcelain, or not necessarily, like glazed finish. I still have it. It's around here somewhere. And you would put a sponge in it or a paper towel, and then you put your parchment paper on top, or vellum. I think it was really parchment. You can use baking parchment as the as your sheet. I also had, that was my first one, and it was great. And the way I sealed it was I made a a piece of saran wrap, essentially. The one I used actually is Stretch Tight, that they make a special size for Costco. And I would just stretch it over the metal and keep it as tight as I could and stick it in the refrigerator, and it worked great. At the time I was using, standard acrylics. Standard acrylics, as long as they don't separate, could be okay. But I've evolved. So then I got the Masterson wet palette, which is fine. I have that one floating around here somewhere. I have too many wet palettes. And it's good, but it didn't seal well. And then I switched to using contrast paint. So I was actually using my wet palette for contrast paints, and it works. But this is better because it retains it doesn't keep it hydrated, so that's a problem. But these fidget poppers, but I can put a small amount, it contains it, and then when it dries, it just pops off. So I will say that is the thing about using wet paint, contrast and speed paints on a wet palette, is they dry differently on the palette, and you can't clean it up easily. So I was using it on this reusable membrane paper thing that they have. Here's the paper here. And it's pretty great. I really should have bought more. I need another sponge. I will keep using them, but they give you 15 reusable membranes, hydration membranes. Says you can use them 4 to 10 times in tests. I will tell you, this one that you just saw has already been used 4 times, or this is the 4th time. Ooh, Middle-earth strategy battle game. Wow, that'd be fun. Hey, Amanda. Amanda was here on Saturday. It was awesome. She was here the whole day. So yeah, what I'm doing here is I'll paint the black underneath the eye. So this is going to be like eyeliner. And then you paint the white. Now let's see how good. I'm actually using the larger handle, which I don't feel is good for me on this one. Now, I like this one. These are the new ones from GW. I have one of these. I also I did not have a paint handle in Germany, and Sebastian, there's a friend called Kai. He's a very nice guy. He loaned me one for the whole time I was there, because he's like, I got extras, just take it. And I was like, well, I'm going to get one of those because it's pretty nice. But I have these, and I like these too. But when I'm trying to do something like this, I feel like the smaller handle is actually probably better. Now they don't have the handle, which I think is valuable. So I have far too many paint handles. This one is one, the Kickstarter that Scott and I backed, and this is Rathcore, and it says it is Rathcore. German. They have this little skull on the top to hold it in the tube. It doesn't really do that great of a job, but it's cork, and you can pin things and stuff, and it's neat. These are great. This is the most basic one. They have another handle one, but it's cool because the cork pops out. And then I have the hobby holder. I mean, so here's my first paint holder. My mini holder was this one. This is a dowel that I cut, and I just put poster tack on it. And this is, I think, the stuff that came with Red Grass. I can't remember, but I have poster tack and stuff like that from others. But you just do this, put it on, and it's pretty great. It does a good job holding it, and you know, you can still pop it off, but this one pops off more easily than this one. I'm not really certain what the deal is, but it is a bummer. The other cool thing this one does is that you can take this off and put it on a tripod, so that you could just rest your hands and then just paint on the Mini. It's kind of, so if your hands and the Mini are on the table, then you're going to probably have a stable hand. Oh, and the other thing is this is not even it. Another one that, I mean, I have a medication that I take all the time, and pill bottles make pretty good paint handles too. But anyway, I like them all. They're all pretty great. This is probably $12 or something like that. It's a little, I mean, it's good. They're cool. They actually have ones for larger vehicles as well. Hey, you know what? I don't have any white on the palette. Hey, Desperado GM, happy holidays to you too. Interesting. Contrast paints have a matte medium in them that it dries thicker than most acrylic paint. That is interesting, because I find that hard to believe. They are thin. If you don't, now maybe that's just because of the way they get, but you can't handle them. You must varnish them pretty quickly. I have actually had one Mini that was just being handled a little bit because I was using it as reference, and it fouled up wow, that is pretty thin. So I will need to buy another bottle of this. It's not that thin. So their paints are already, the Pro Acryls are a little, they're not thin, because there's a lot of pigment in them. I had to thin it out a lot because the pigment was coagulating, and that may be something to do with titanium. I don't know. Maybe temperature, like I said. But I mean, these have been out here in the studio, which isn't as conditioned as the rest of the house. We don't condition unless we're in here. But it was kind of frustrating, but it still works, so I don't care. I mean, really, that is what's amazing about Sebastian, is he will buy stuff on eBay where it's a whole bunch of minis and things like that, because he just kit bashes and does all kinds of great stuff. Like his terrain is great. He's so fast. I mean, really fast. But he will rejuvenate paints. Unless it's dried into a rubber, he can basically get them back. And like, he buys old paint colors that he loves. One of my favorites is the, gosh, what is it called? It's right here. It's the last of it that I have. I don't have my little Camaro. Warlock Purple. I wonder how close this one is. It is not the same. This one's called Wizard Purple. Now, this paint, these guys have been gone for a while. I haven't opened this bottle. It's still liquid. I don't love these bottles either, but they last. I have this was out of one of their bolter shell style case bottles they had. When they had screw tops, they were okay of that version. Then they moved to flip top, which is, yay, this is easy, but no, it isn't, because it dries up really quickly. It was really a bummer. I wasn't fast enough through the paint bottles to use them. And that was actually where I stopped using GW paints for a while, because I just couldn't work fast enough to get through a bottle. But yeah, these are made by what is it called? Because these guys, HMG. So they made paints for GW a long time ago when they used bottles similar to this. Then they went to a French manufacturer, and I don't know who that is. I sure wished I knew who it was, because I love I loved that metallic. Now, that was 20 years ago, so I don't know if that metallic is as good as I thought they were, but boy, I sure love that shining gold that they used to make. It was my favorite gold. That's this gold here. and I was able to thinly apply it. It wasn't too brush strokey, you know, although this might have been an earlier mini. But I love that color, and I wish that I could get it. Now, the Retributor Gold is pretty fantastic. The, what is it called here? Bright Gold? Rich Gold is the one from Monument Hobbies. That's a pretty great paint too. Messing things up here. I did such a great job yesterday. I'm always, whenever I'm on the stream, I'm always trying to, I think it's just the way I hold it. Hey, Chocolate Wine. Merry Christmas to you too. Australia. Well, I think you're already, it's Christmas already for you. This is Christmas Eve. We're getting our act together. I will wrap the packages after lunch. And then I might come back out and paint some more. Nikki and I actually played some, I think there was, it said 25th anniversary on the software. We used to, with the guys that actually got us into, so our group started as a board game group. And then, gosh darn it. And then we rapidly, like within months, became a LAN gaming thing. It was fun. I was into it. I kind of was the sort of the impetus for that, because I was at the time, my brother and I made computers for everybody. And oh, you know what? I'm using the wrong brush. This is why I'm having troubles. What a knucklehead. It's too big. Here's the one I was using. I was wondering why I was having troubles. Take care, Graham. Take care, everybody. Have a great Christmas. Yeah, you need a fine brush to do these. Wow, that was no wonder I was having troubles. Ooh, that's too wet. Still, let me soak that up. Wow, that could have been bad too. So one thing I can say that you might want to do when you're doing something like this, you might want to varnish the face before you start painting it. So you paint part of it, then you varnish it, so that you don't, if you're satisfied with the results, then you don't have as much chance of fouling things up. Boy, that is really wet in there. Let me see if I can wick out some of that moisture. Nikki messaged me. But yeah, I kind of missed we used to go to church on Christmas Eve with Nikki's family, and it was kind of fun. Nikki's mom still goes. She is in the choir. Okay. It dries pretty fast here though, and you know, this is a very small amount of paint, so but that's the thing, a wet palette. Wet palette changed my life, and Nikki was the one that introduced me to it because she used them in school. You can use a wet palette with acrylics and with oil paints. I don't know how that oil paint one worked, because that's maybe just kept it so that it didn't dry, because it's a solvent, linseed oil and stuff like that, thinner, or mineral spirits. So these are pretty darn big eyes. You know, I was saying that the ones on the painted minis, you know, those minis that they're showing during the campaign are 3D printed. There's like something stuck on the end of this. Either the bristle is too long or there's actually paint dried up on that bristle. So yeah, I have the Masterson stuff. So I was mentioning the wet palette. I also have this rinse well, which is pretty great. It's like a 16 ounces of water or more inverted on this reservoir that has a small area for the paint, for the water, and then a plunger. You know, you press it to drain the water. It's pretty great. There's a smaller version that Green Stuff World has had manufactured with their branding on it, but you can get them on Amazon for pretty inexpensive. This one's great. It's a little too big, but what's great about it is I rinse the water a lot. I rinse the brushes a lot and take it out. So it has a huge reservoir to hold the water, so comparatively. Although I do believe that it is maybe smaller than the, no, it can't be smaller than the bottle. Oof. It was funny when Sebastian came to visit, we were looking at minis, you know, the stuff, and I was showing him things like, oh, you can paint in my group. That I was a decent enough painter. But I think she has brown eyes. Let me look at Electra. Hey, Iron Spy, thank you so much. And man, thank you for the treats. They were delicious. I mean, there's still the lots of, the one that you slice, what the heck is this stuff called? I can never remember. It's a, I don't know, goodness. They sent us like little cookies and, oh, kolache, there we go. And we didn't, the one that you have to slice didn't get eaten as much, which is good because that's the reduced sugar one. I'm very happy to have that. But man, that was delicious and it was super fun. Thank you for sending that stuff. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. I will text you tomorrow regardless. So let me look at Electra. But I got to tell you, having these reference photos is great. And I was saddened because the first wave only showed the front. They would like rotate the image and, oh my gosh. Why would that not work? Wow. Oh my gosh, this is what's going on. This stuff I always have to log in on. Jeez. Yeah, I'm wondering about the humidifier, because that's a friend of mine does that. There's like a small one, a very small one you can get to your desktop. I just have like cardboard all around me. I don't know that I want moisture floating around, but let's see here. It's what is this one? I'm trying to log into my password stuff. But I have to log into no matter what, I always have to log into this stuff, and particularly the Mac seems to be fussier about it than anything else, but I guess that's the security aspect of this stuff. But I have my password manager, and it's just annoying. But we used to use another one, and they really were bad. I will say that typing on this laptop is great compared to my keyboard. And there we go, it went in. Okay, so I want to look at Electra. Alphabetically, this is reversed, I think. I like that Alexa hears that. Or maybe I said Electra. There we go, I'm sure that's what it was. Okay.
It does look like she has brown eyes.
Okay, cool. Wow, those look amazing. Now, I was saying that they're large. They're also fantastic painters. I am not that great. Oh, wow. Humidifier to aim at your stuff, huh? Yeah, I watched the Squid. As I was saying, I don't keep up with Squidmar as much as I used to, and I really liked his stuff, but it's just too much. I can't even imagine how they've got like 3 different shades in that eye. That is amazing. I am not that good. I will now pick a brown paint. Should I use this traditional brown paint? Meaning, since I have these, a fur brown, that might be okay. Let's see what that looks kind of like. It seems kind of red. What about this one? That is a purple. Oh, you know what? I think I remember. I do not like, oak brown will probably be the one. These sets, I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously there's a reason for it, but it's always green and blue heavy. And I want more browns, I want more purples, I want more reds. I think there's like 2 reds, maybe there's 3. Basilisk red, wyvern fury, whatever that is, and then pure red. Is that a red too? No, it's wicked pink. And that's the thing. So the sets are pretty good. Generally, I mean, especially with the discount I got on this, it probably was lower than the $4 for something per bottle, $4.50 maybe. And that's not a bad price, believe me. The GW colors, just the small bottles like these are pretty expensive. But you know, the contrast paints are $8 a bottle. Now, I've said many times, I've used the heck out of these colors, and I barely gotten through that basilicanum gray that I'm getting low on. That was my first bottle of that, and I spilled it not halfway through using it, but on one of our paint streams with the guys in Germany when we were doing it on Discord. It was fun, but I was like, oops, clubs, and it was like all over my. I had this paint mat, thank goodness, but it got some of it on my mouse pad. I have like Scott gave me a plastic mouse pad with like LEDs in it, which is really awesome. So spilling paint on that wasn't so bad. I got it cleaned off, but so one thing, I'm going to do this again. Now it looks like it's fine, but I think that you need to, after that nightmare I had, where is that at? Actually, I could probably just use this. Will it fit? Yes. Poke it through. I was just using the contrast medium the other day, and a speed paint medium, and it squirted all over the place, and I was just super frustrated. So don't use a lot of pressure on these bottles. I mean, if it's too thick, and these are acrylics, so, you know, regular, not full body acrylic like a tube, but you shouldn't have to press too hard, and you should not do it because it just squirts out. I lost basically half of the bottle of the speed paint medium, and I wasn't even pressing very hard, but it was like, you know, and I've used that bottle. It wasn't the first time using it like this one. And it's crazy how quickly it dries out. Let's look at it and see if I can, it was the speed paint medium. Let's see how it is. I haven't used it for a few days. Yeah, see, look at all this dried stuff in here. Like every time. And I actually have it on my microphone right here on the wire. I have a little coil of it, but it looks pretty dried in there. It's not that bad. I just cleaning that with my finger, ended up cleaning it off, but wow, so it's too small for that. It's too big for that hole. Let's try it again. Nope, can't use that. Interesting. So the other bottle, so maybe the speed paint has a slightly smaller diameter. I do have a piece of paper. Oh, it's right there. Paperclip that I've been using. But yeah, oh yeah, look at that. It's definitely dry. You got to be careful. It's the one, so that none of these bottles are perfect. It's really kind of a bummer. Boy, that's really clogged. I maybe need to pull that out and push it out from the other side. Hey, it sounds like Nikki's coming in. But I was saying we were playing games. So it was a group that we played. Daryl's the one that actually introduced me to Warhammer, and he was the one that brought over Catan and got us going with that. Even though we were part of that board game group, I had, as I've mentioned before, I actually was trying, games seller was trying to sell me that game, and I'm like, I don't think that's for us. We hadn't made the jump to designer games. Wow, that is really clogged. I don't know what to do there. But he was the one that got me into this. But we used to play, when we played the video games, we played Age of Empires, Age of Kings. I remember playing Age of Empires, and then when Age of Kings came out, he brought it over. We're like, oh my gosh. But we were playing that last night. It was really fun. Although it was hard. We had a heck of a time. Because it's usually us against AI. We had a heck. Hey, how's it going? Nick? Anyway, it's usually us versus the AI, and the AI was really harsh, and which is cool. And they almost wiped out Nikki. I'm like, can you get anybody over here? And then she brought her 4 workers over and rebuilt within my area. Because she is funny. She loves it, and I respect it totally. She likes to take and experiment with different factions, right? So I don't remember what she was, Cumin or something like that, which I don't know that historically. But they could not build walls. And they could build palisades, but they couldn't build walls. And so, and palisades are easy to take down. And so she was, I'm trying to build out, like reaching, and so we had a large map, too large of a map. And so I was just having this constant battle, just trying to keep that alive. And then finally I just was like, I got to fortify myself. And then she came, and then I'm like, are they just hitting you? And then like, so, because I was trying to build walls. I wasn't even building armies. It was just so bad. But it was fun. We also loved playing StarCraft. That was one of the other ones at that time. Now StarCraft 2 is free to play. It's so funny. We actually, of course, bought it because we were way into it. Wow, that's bad. Trying to give that eye a little bit more. A little bit more corner there. See if I can do it. So you have to have the paint at the right consistency, and it has to not be too much on the brush. That is bad. Too wet. Wow, it really is too wet. Well, I'm just going to go with it because goodness gracious, this is not working out. You see here, maybe use an X-Acto on it. Who's going to see this anyway? I'm being silly. So using the toothpick is a little gentler. I think I need to paint some black over that. I made a mess there. So let's do that. Oof. Too much. No, maybe not. Again, this is like an eyeliner, so my head's in the way. You're gonna have to get your brush in there at the right angle. Trying to paint that over, and it was a piece of paint, dried paint. Okay, let's let that dry before I get in there. So let's try to do a little bit of brown on this other eye. Woof. Had it right for a second there, and then my hand moved. Tissue paper. Gosh darn, it was so close. Gosh darn it, I done the same thing. Trying to get it over that little edge. Now here's the deal. I'm painting it over the white. There'll be no white in that edge. So reality is I probably shouldn't worry about it. But of course it's now too wet. So let's go back to the other eye. I think I need to thin this out and put it more on the brush and twist my brush to get a little bit less paint. Get some on here and make sure we're okay. You really should have like one dot of it. She looks kind of cross-eyed there. So this little teeny eye, which I've just made a mistake on, they will do a darker edge on the iris, a brighter brown, and then kind of almost yellow, and then a dark pupil. So I am just not that good. Now, it might be slightly different because it was 3D printed. And you know, you don't even have to, just using it as guideline doesn't even have to actually it's a little better. I was doing much better yesterday. I'm very saddened at my inability to get this right. Okay, now I need to make that iris bigger so she doesn't look so cross-eyed. Two little whites, but that's fine. I can fix that. Hit the surface of the last ingredients. Take care, Angzar. I don't know if I probably missed you there. Thank you for the chat and for watching. We are trying to avoid going to the store. We did a little bit yesterday, and holy cow, was it too crazy already. Went past Costco and holy free holy, we're so happy we weren't going there. My dad loved to shop on Christmas Eve. I remember him coming in so late. And I was just like, wow. I mean, I don't remember when Amazon actually started, but I didn't start buying stuff from them until like 99. And you know, it was books, and I think I actually started buying like DVDs and stuff like that. But, so yeah, he would go to the stores. I mean, I had fun going shopping too. I remember one time shopping with my brother. It was great. Bought Nikki she loves Piglet. I bought her this giant Piglet, and the two of us were carrying it out. That mall is still there, but empty. It's the Rams owner owns it and is going to, I guess they're building a stadium there, a little stadium. They've already built like a play field on they bought the Blue Cross property that was there, pretty close to us. That's pretty good. It's a little not as cool as the others. Now you're not going to notice the iris because it's so dark. I probably should have had, I mean, there's no way, I can't. It's like literally painting with one hair, I believe. Although Sebastian does have like a one hair brush. Trying to put a little glare, a reflection on her eye, and having a bit of a trouble here. I feel the brush is too quickly drying on there's like one hair that's a little too long. And the paint dries very quickly on that. Probably means I need to clean it more often when I'm doing this. And this is an okay brush. I mean, it's actually pretty good, but it is not ideal. There you go. That's pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Okay. Wanted to show you that, and I did not really do a good job showing that, but whatever. So now let's get back to Mockingbird? I want to paint the edge of the base black. And this one is where I use this handle, because I can paint the edge with it out, because it uses that edge to hold the miniature. So, as I said, I really like the orange brush. The 4 is particularly good for this. Now the palette has hydrated this black quite a bit, so it's already pretty wet, maybe too wet. It's pretty thin. I think I'm gonna have to do 2 coats. Wow. The water droplet that I put on there is still there. It didn't mix with this, so I don't know what happened. It's okay though. When it gets thin though, you can see like where my fingers were, there's a little bit of oil from my hand causing the paint to move away, you know. So this is going to take a while to dry. Yeah, there, it's right there too. Wow. This is very moist, very, very wet. Still dries pretty fast. I will definitely have to do a few coats. Now, that's okay. Doing multiple coats is better. Although I tend to do the black in one go on these. This one will probably, oof, that was wet on the edge, so it's made a pool over here. This one's probably going to absorb the paint a little bit much. Wow. I didn't even think I put that much paint on there, but it is just flowing all over the place. So this one's kind of receding even more so now. As again, this is rattle can. Went to the Dollar Tree yesterday to look at their gift certificates. You know, that they have like one of those end caps with a bunch of different gift cards. And I said gift certificates, I mean gift cards. But Nikki ended up having to go to another store. But they did have like a cutting mat that was $1.25. I didn't buy it because I don't really need it, but I was like, wow, little teeny cut. It's not tiny, but it's a good size one that'd be a good little hobby one. I have one that's already about that size. That's like one of my oldest ones. I think it was probably a kit with like a knife and a ruler maybe or something like that. But they have some good hobby stuff sometimes at those places. Head in the way. Let that dry. A second coat will probably do that one. I usually start on the back side. So you definitely wanted to let it dry before. Now this is not as heavy of a film, so you might be okay if you wanted to go around a little more, but I generally don't. So this is still not dry. And it's very weird how the sheens are changing across it and stuff. I'm actually working around this wet spot. Since that's thicker, it might actually be already the right. You do not want to touch it though. So it tears the the membrane of the drying paint. So you want to avoid that. Some red in there too. I don't know what's going on. Dries pretty quick. This one dried very quickly. Now I think that has something to do with the undercoating, the white and black paint rattle can. But I think it'll look pretty good when it's done. Hmm. I wonder if my palette's just too wet. Doesn't seem like it though. It's so funny, that little drop of water that I put in there is still although maybe it's leaking in through the capillary action through the paper. That's possible. But not enough to make this wet. There's no way. Okay.
That'll probably be enough for that one. That looks pretty good though on that one. So I'm going to do one other step on that, which is something that Uncle Adam on Tabletop Minions introduced me to when he was doing that paint stream for us in 2020. He uses the contrast paint to do like a final coat on that, and it's something about it actually quite works well. So what time is it? Oh, it's 12:40. Wow. Everybody's sending me messages. Okay. So I don't know that these are going to be dry enough. Oh, this one looks pretty darn dry. They both are. So these are very matte. And I think that that's one of the things about their paints is they're pretty matte. Let's use Black Templar, I think is what I mostly have been using. But yeah, I was saying you have to kind of shake the paint. So I've been starting to do where I'm shaking a row at a time, you know, like I have 4 racks here. Well, actually 5 with this little one here. I actually have more than that really ultimately. But, because I have all the little ones. But yeah, if you just cycle through them, you know, just to make sure they're getting agitated regularly. I'm doing it on the front. I want that overlap to be on the back. So I don't go any further. It has a different sheen to it once it's dry, so that's the deal. Is I think it just gives you a little bit more even sheen, because this is actually kind of a little bit, as you're painting it here, maybe because it's so thin, I don't know, I'm getting like different levels of shininess. I'm eager to get some of the other sets too, because like, I don't know when some of these were made, but when I was painting my set of them, they had some of these that just had some really fun bases, like a broken traffic light and stuff like that, which was awesome. And not just like, you know, a curb with power and stuff like that. Cables. I don't know there, that seemed like I did a sloppier job. I think I've caught that edge on each one of the times I've gone on this one. I'm going kind of slow on this one. It's drying pretty quickly. Okay. Yeah, it's a little sloppy. This one actually probably looks pretty good. It does. Looks great. I don't know, man. That rattle can seems to do a pretty good job on some of that. Let's see how this one looks. It's okay. It smoothed out pretty good, and it's a pretty decent sheen. Cool. Let's close that up. Let's clean my brushes. So this we'll let dry. It's already starting to it'll just pop off, like you can see here. That sharp blade is sharp. It'll just peel off. And it's pretty great. You don't have to clean the palette as often as you, I mean, it's not a palette, but I'm using it as a palette, as you might, but there's some contrast medium, or speed paint medium. But yeah, it's a great little thing, and I just usually leave it till the next time I come out, and then I pop them out and continue. I don't love having the chunks of paint sometimes, so I do try to maybe wipe it out with a damp paper towel after it's done. Let me look at these. Is this one the last one I did? It's drying up pretty good. And then I'll varnish them. So that's a silly thing. Does this matter? I mean, I'm going to varnish them as well, but I like what it does to the surface. It makes it more consistent. Now, varnishing does things like increase the intensity of the color. Gotta be in the right window for that. Increases the intensity of the color, so it can also changing the sheen of the varnish on the Mini can change the quality of a color and things like that, which is pretty awesome. I will have to clean this palette up. I think I will let me look at her eyes. The eyes of well, this was Carmen Electra. This is Electra. I feel like she needs some yellow in there. I don't know that I can do that, but she looks pretty good. I did a much better job on these. I don't know what the heck. Although this one looks like her eye has, I don't think that's anything there though. Cool. Well, everybody have a great holiday. Let's see if anybody else is streaming. Go over to Twitch. Oh wow. I don't think I ever did that. There we go. Hey, it updated now. Hooray! Knucklehead. Okay, so let's go to the stream manager. And see if anybody's rating. I mean, everybody's streaming. Maybe Monument Hobbies. We don't follow them, no, on our, this is BGG's. Let's see here. Time Roller, well, Time Roller was here earlier. Let's go visit them. I think he's been up for an hour. But say hello for me. Everybody have a great holiday. Try to enjoy your break and enjoy your family if you can. I mean, we've had some contentious times. Nothing terrible with, but it's been way better lately. You know, I mean, we've had a really nice time hanging out with everybody on the holidays, and so it's been at our place now, which is it's just easier for the folks. They're just getting tired, and it's too much effort. So it's more work for us, but it's easier. Like we're kind of in control of the timing and stuff like that, so it works out pretty great. So hopefully you have a good one too. Try to play some games. Maybe we'll play some party games. That would be fun. We'll see if we can convince at least a few. We do not have a large family. I don't see my brother anymore, and he lives up north. He would be fun though. He and his girlfriend would be fun. But and Nikki's brother, he's a good guy, but he's just even, you know, like I'm sure he gets angry, but I've never seen him angry. Anyway, you guys take care. Have a great one. Say hello to Time Roller for me. Anybody on YouTube, you can't go along there. Hey, thanks, Robert Fidel. Thank you so much. What's on the rest of it? Xmas Eve. Well, I gotta wrap packages. So we're getting ready. So we got 13 people going to raid on Twitch. Take care, everybody. Say hi. Say hello for me on YouTube, folks. I'll say goodbye to you in a second. Thanks, YouTube folks. You take care.